You're not invited to the anniversary, Mom said. There will be people there who think you're long gone. The funny thing about being treated like a ghost is, eventually, you learn to haunt back. That thought hit me the moment Mom said it. You're not invited to the anniversary, she said over the phone. There will be people there who think you're long gone. Not don't come. Not this isn't a good time. Not even we need space. Just that people think you're long gone. Like I was a rumor. A fading headline. Someone whose name you whisper about at Thanksgiving when someone accidentally brings up that year. I held the phone a little tighter. What people? I asked, even though I already had a list in my head: family, friends, church neighbors, distant relatives with polite smiles and judgment baked into their bones. The ones who saw the fallout, the ones who read between the lines when I moved out without a word at 23. Mom didn't answer right away. It's just easier, she said finally. That part, at least, I believed. Easier to pretend I disappeared. Easier to avoid questions. Easier to smooth out the story and leave me on the cutting room floor. Well, I said, trying to keep my voice level, I'm not gone. There was silence on the other end. I didn't say goodbye. Just ended the call and stared at the wall for what felt like hours. It had been 5 years since I left home. Not just the house, the family. After Dad died, something cracked in the center of us. And when I told the truth about what happened that night, what I saw, no one wanted to hear it. Especially not Mom. She called it grief confusion. Said I must have misremembered. I didn't. And the day I realized she'd rather protect someone else's reputation than her own kid's reality, I packed my life into a Toyota Corolla and vanished. But apparently, not far enough. Now, 5 years later, they were throwing a 30th anniversary party in the same house I used to call home. And I wasn't invited because it was more convenient to let people believe I never made it past 23. But Mom had made one mistake. She'd told me the date. And I just found a reason to show up anyway. Because hours after the call, I got a message from someone I hadn't heard from since the day everything went wrong. My cousin, Rachel. I know what you saw. I saw it too. Meet me before the party. Rachel hadn't messaged me since the funeral. Not after the screaming match in the driveway. Not after the whispered accusations turned into full-blown silence. Not after Mom told the family I was emotionally unstable and just needed time to process things differently. Back then, I thought Rachel believed them. Maybe she did. Maybe it was safer. But her message now, short, direct, and completely out of nowhere, told me one thing. She was done staying quiet. I met her at a park halfway between my city and the town I swore I'd never go back to. She was waiting on a bench near the pond, dressed in black jeans and a hoodie, her hair tied back in that messy way she always wore it when she didn't want to be noticed. She looked up and gave me a tight, unreadable smile. I wasn't sure you'd come, she said. I almost didn't. We sat in silence for a minute. The water rippled. A kid threw bread at ducks while his mom scrolled her phone. Then Rachel pulled out her phone and opened a note. I wrote this down the night after it happened, she said, handing it to me. I never showed anyone. Not even my mom. I took it and read. July 17th. I saw Uncle Brian in the hallway after everyone went to sleep. He was in her room. She told him to stop. I heard her. I froze. I didn't do anything. I was scared. I didn't know what to do. The next morning, she didn't say a word. But she looked different. And when, my name, told the truth, everyone shut him down. They called him a liar to keep things clean. I didn't speak up. I was a coward. I read it twice. My throat tightened. You heard it, I whispered. She nodded, eyes full of guilt. I should have said something. But I didn't. And then when you left, it felt like I lost the only person who ever called it what it was. We sat there in the stillness, the weight of years pressing down between us. I was 17, I said finally. They told me I must have imagined it. That grief does weird things to people. That I was lashing out. They knew, she said. They all knew. But if they admitted it, they'd have to admit they let it happen. That was the truth I carried into every job interview, every new apartment, every birthday that passed without a call. I wasn't cut out. I was cut off. And now here Rachel was, handing me back the piece they tried to take, my credibility. I know why they don't want you at the anniversary, she said. Because you're real. And the version of you they invented, the one who couldn't handle life, doesn't ask questions. I looked down at her note again, then back at her. I don't want revenge, I said. I know, she replied. But maybe you still need justice. She pulled a second envelope from her backpack and handed it to me. It's from her, she said. She gave it to me before she left town. Told me to hold on to it until you were ready. I didn't have to ask who her was. The girl from that night. The one no one believed. The one we were all told to forget. The envelope was sealed with red wax, initials scrawled on the front AM. Inside, just one sentence. You were the only one who ever told the truth out loud. I remember. That was all I needed. Not a confession. Not a lawsuit. Not a headline. Just a reminder that what I saw was real and that staying silent hadn't protected anyone but him. Rachel looked at me. You still going to the anniversary? I nodded. They want a ghost, I said. I'll give them one. Because the truth never dies. It just waits for someone to walk back in the room. The anniversary was held at the country club on the east side of town, the same place they held my graduation party, back when I was still someone they were proud of. Now, I was the secret. The missing branch in the family tree. I sat in my car across the lot, watching familiar silhouettes step out of SUVs in suits and dresses. Laughter floated across the parking lot like it belonged to people who had nothing to hide. I waited until the sun started to dip. Until I knew the speeches would be beginning. Then I walked in. The hostess at the front blinked when I gave my name. I saw her scroll through the guest list. Not there, of course. It's all right, I said. I'm family. She hesitated, then stepped aside. The ballroom was soft-lit and spotless, white tablecloths and gold chargers, champagne flutes gleaming in perfect little rows. The kind of setting where people spoke in low voices and kept their sins in formal wear. I walked through like I belonged. Because once, I did. Heads turned. Whispers rippled like wine through tall grass. And then Mom saw me. Her face drained of color, but she didn't move. She just stood there, frozen, champagne glass trembling in her hand. My sister caught sight of me next, her mouth opening slightly like she wanted to say something, but no words would come. I walked straight toward the podium. Uncle Brian was up there, of course. Giving some polished, forgettable speech about 30 years of love and resilience. The room clapped politely when he finished. He looked down, and then his eyes met mine. He flinched. I stepped up before anyone could stop me. Took the mic as people murmured. I'll be quick, I said. I just wanted to say one thing. Mom took a step forward now, panic rising in her voice. Don't. But I didn't stop. I reached into my jacket pocket and unfolded the letter, the one from her. From the girl they all forgot. The one I wasn't supposed to believe. The one they told me was making it up, or worse, making trouble. I held it in the air. You told me I imagined it, I said. You told me grief made me lie. You let people think I lost control. That I disappeared. I looked right at Uncle Brian. You should have been the one erased. Gasps. Real ones. A fork clattered to the ground. Someone stood up, then sat right back down. I turned back to the crowd. I'm not here to ruin a party. I'm here to remind you that silence isn't neutral. That the stories you buried don't stay buried, they grow teeth. I placed the letter on the podium. I'm not asking you to believe me anymore, I said. Because someone else already did. Then I walked out. Not fast. Not in shame. Like someone who'd finally put the weight down. Outside, I found Rachel waiting at the curb, engine running. You really did it, she said, stunned. No, I said. We did. The next day, the group chat, the one I hadn't been part of in years, lit up. My sister sent a message first. I'm sorry I stayed quiet. I knew, too. Then another from a cousin. We should have listened to you. I'm so sorry. And finally, one from a number that wasn't saved in my phone, but I knew it anyway. Thank you for not letting them forget me. In the days that followed, everything got louder and then, quieter than I ever expected. The video of my speech hit Facebook that night. I didn't post it. Someone at table 9 did. Their caption read, "Family secrets aren't supposed to have microphones. But maybe they should." Within 48 hours, over 10,000 people had seen it. Some left comments like brave. Others called it disrespectful. But I didn't care. Because in every like, every share, every private message from a stranger saying thank you for speaking up, I felt it. The shift. The power of not being alone anymore. Mom called once. I didn't answer. She left a voicemail that started with "I wish you hadn't done that," and ended with, "But maybe I should have done something first." Progress? Maybe. Maybe not. But it didn't matter. The next week, Rachel and I drove 3 hours to meet her, the girl from that night. Anna. She greeted us at the edge of a sunlit cafe patio with a cautious smile and tired eyes that had clearly lived too many lives in too little time. I didn't think you'd actually come, she said. I almost didn't, I admitted. She nodded like she understood that more than anyone else ever could. We sat and talked for 2 hours. No drama. No tears. Just truth long overdue and gently spoken. I thought about disappearing, Anna said. I really did. But every time I almost did. I remembered your face. That night. The look in your eyes when you saw him in my room. You saved me, I said. She shook her head. No. You believed me. That saved me. When we left, she hugged me tight. Longer than expected. Rachel cried on the drive home. I didn't. I just watched the trees blur past, feeling like I'd finally stepped out of a story someone else had written for me and started writing my own. A month later, the lawyer called. Not mine. Uncle Brian's. Apparently, a few more people came forward after the speech. Quietly. Carefully. Just enough to reopen a case that should have been opened long ago. I don't know how far this will go, the lawyer said. But it's going somewhere. That night, I picked up my guitar, the one I hadn't touched since I left home, and wrote a song that wasn't about pain, or memory, or even anger. It was about survival. About truth. About what it feels like to finally be heard. I posted it online. The caption was simple. For anyone who was told to stay quiet. You're not forgotten. It went viral within a week. Not because it was perfect, but because it was real. And the thing no one tells you about being written off, erased, or made into a ghost is that when you come back, you don't haunt, you heal.